One of the highest risk areas for our children crossing roads is when they're going to and from school. Millions of dollars have been spent on education campaigns trying to warn youngsters about the dangers, and special crossing zones are provided near many schools. But, as we're about to see, they're often ignored, and children are sometimes learning bad habits from the very people who should know better, their parents.
Playing chicken with cars appears to be a childhood preoccupation. Many ride high on invincibility, unaware or unconcerned of the dangers they face. This is what we witnessed around primary schools over the last 2 weeks in Perth, Brisbane, Melbourne and Sydney.
Oh, I don't think I can see anymore. The risk-taking of children, I think, is inherent in them.
Maureen Elliott from the Roads and Traffic Authority agreed to view our tapes.
And that is absolutely unacceptable. A tiny little person like that, unaccompanied in traffic.
What must be disturbing for many parents is how willing children are to take shortcuts, even when pedestrian crossings and traffic lights are nearby.
Why did you decide to cross the road there?
I didn't want to walk up to the lights.
This is the busy Hume Highway in Sydney, and this child crosses it every morning. It's only when he's in the company of teachers that he does so at the traffic lights.
You're really not too worried about being hit by a car?
No, I won't get hit by a car. I know I'm safe.
You know you're safe.
These children may cross a quieter street, but their failure to look before they walk also places them at risk.
Did you look for the cars?
Yeah, no,
You didn't? Why didn't you?
because there isn't a car.
But look how busy it is. There are lots of cars on this street.
They don't have the development and the understanding to be able to calculate the risks.
Dr Chris Webber works in the emergency department at Sydney Children's Hospital at Randwick. Each year they treat between 40 and 50 youngsters hit by cars.
But the other thing that happens is that as adults, we give them the wrong messages. We expect them to obey the road rules, we expect them to cross crossings, and yet we don't demonstrate that behaviour, and that's frustrating and annoying.
Certainly that was evident at many of the schools we visited. Here in Brisbane, children and their parents, ignoring the nearby pedestrian crossing, make the mad dash at a particularly bad spot.
Terribly, terribly dangerous. A curve where any motorist couldn't be expected to see and appropriately slow down. Oh, yes. If the parent has the time to stand on the side of the road and watch a child go across, they most certainly have the time to take them safely to the other side. And we are a lazy society in many instances.
Many parents cross with their children where they shouldn't, confident they can make the right judgment on when it's safe to do so. A do as I say, not what I do scenario we're all probably guilty of.
I was just wondering why you chose to cross here as opposed to up there.
Oh dear, because the lights were red and there was no traffic.
So what message do you try to give to your child about crossing the road?
Well, always to look and watch and to go to crossings, I'd have to say. Wouldn't I, mate?
So you understand that message, do you? Oh, good.
I'm horrified and sickened because I know what the outcome can be, and the parents just must be unaware of that, or they wouldn't take those risks with their children.
She's ataxic, which is poor mobility. She's lost her sight in her right eye, an intellectual disability and behaviour problems.
Brooke was years old when she escaped from the back seat of her father's car and ran across the road into the path of an oncoming truck. Her mother, Christine Ricketts, saw it happen.
And I think I felt helpless because the driver couldn't see her. I could.
And you could do nothing. Poor thing.
Why were you upset? Are you alright?
I'm okay.
Because children will be children, accidents are sometimes hard to avoid. But in some cases, motorists are playing Russian roulette with young lives.
Oh, look at that one.
Straight through the red.
Did you get it? I mean, that could be a child. That could be a bulleye. If we had a red light camera here, they wouldn't be doing that.
It gets your goat up, doesn't it?
And, well, I love children. I mean, I think this is our future, and what are we doing to them? They shouldn't be put in that predicament.
Harold Scrooby from the Pedestrian Council wants drivers who park illegally near pedestrian crossings to lose points from their licence and a uniform speed of 40 kilometres an hour near all schools. He wants the 40k zone to apply from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. to eliminate the current confusion about when the speed limit applies.
You are playing with people's lives. We've got to start becoming more proactive and far less reactive.
During this speed check, opposite a primary school, 13 drivers were pulled over within 45 minutes for exceeding the 40 kilometre speed limit.
Are you aware if it's a school zone? I've been penalised and I should be penalised for doing that.
I didn't realise the speed limit.
What do you think of 40k zones around schools?
They're a bit rude.
Why is that?
I think it should be a bit higher than 40. You can walk by it.
What do you think of being a 40k zone?
I think it's a bit excessive.
Why is that?
Because 40 is like going at no pace.
She thinks it's too slow. Yeah. Oh no, well, I disagree with that.
I see the children injured. I see them in pain and in distress, and I see the families afterwards who suffer the consequences of the accidents. And it's disappointing that we as a society aren't taking this more seriously, and I think we need to.
Yeah, we sure do. And one further warning, Dr. Webber points out that children struck by cars are far more likely to suffer a brain injury than a broken limb. Tara Brown with that report, and we'll be back straight after the break.